But you do that to me every once in a while.
I think I was pretty clear, but thank you for your time. We always appreciate it. There's really not much in the news, so there's not a real lot to talk about, but let's start with Venezuela. Narco-terrorist, indicted, guy that we're losing 200 Americans a day to drugs.
Yeah.
Walk us through this decision in Venezuela.
Well, it wasn't a hard decision. Democrats wanted him and Republicans wanted him, and nobody had what it takes to get him or didn't want to get him. I don't know, something happened, but he killed a lot of people. He sent a lot of bad people into our country. He emptied his prisons into the United States. He emptied his mental institutions and insane asylums into the United States and did a lot of very bad things, but he was a big drug pusher. You see that because all the boats that we shot down, they came out of Venezuela. A lot of drugs. There's a lot of boats and a lot of drugs. There are very few boats operating right now. There's almost no boats. You can't find any boats.
I don't think anyone would go fishing in those waters.
Not a lot of people want to go fishing anymore. But we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by water. And we are going to start now hitting land with regard to the cartels. The cartels are running Mexico. It's very, very sad to watch and see what's happened to that country. But the cartels are running, and they're killing 250,000, 300,000 people in our country every single year. The drugs, it's horrible. It's devastated families. You know, you lose a child or a parent. I mean, parents are dying, too, with drugs. So we've done a really good job. We're knocking it down. The numbers are really getting to be, they're always going to be too high if you have one person, but they're going down just like the border. The border was a total mess for years. I did it the first time very quickly, and this time I did it even better because this was a bigger mess. This was a border like no other probably in the history of the world. There's never been a border like that when anybody could just walk into your country.
The border's ostensibly really closed now.
Closed. You can't come in. And nobody comes. Nobody even tries. And the people in Texas, Arizona, all these places that are won by such big numbers, they are so happy with the border. They had homes that they weren't even able to live in their home. Every day people were knocking on their door, every hour. And it's just a great honor to be involved with it. The ICE and Border Patrol and all of the people have been so good. Tom Homan, Kristi Noem. The people have done such an incredible job. You have no idea.
You've made a number of profound announcements and then a new announcement today. Announcement number one was 30 to 50 million barrels of oil that they will be handing over to you, and you will sell it on the market at market prices. Yeah. That money will be used for the people of Venezuela and the people of America.
Correct.
Then you made an announcement yesterday that they will buy all of their goods from this country. Today, we learn that the holdovers, since Maduro's gone, have agreed to free all of the political prisoners.
Right.
It indicates they want peace with Donald Trump to me. How do you interpret it?
We asked them to do that, and they've been great. They really have been. I mean, everything we've wanted, they've given us. We went in, we took Maduro out. Amazingly, that nobody was killed. We didn't lose a soldier. We had some people wounded, but we didn't lose a soldier. A couple of very brave helicopter pilots were wounded pretty badly, but they're good. They're in good shape. And it was an amazing attack. The other side lost a lot of people, unfortunately. But, you know, this house was in the middle of a fort with thousands of people and soldiers and everything else. And we went right into the middle of a fort. Who would think you could do that and not lose anybody? But they had it planned so beautifully. General Raisin Kane and Pete Hegseth were fantastic. Marco's been doing a great job. Vice President, the whole group it's just a fantastic group.
Let's talk a little bit about, you make these decisions. I don't care if it's this case, Operation Midnight Hammer. In the one case, you're here in the White House in the Situation Room. You're watching this unfold in real time. In this case, you have operationally the same thing, a Situation Room down in Palm Beach at Mar-a-Lago. You make that ultimate call. You are the commander-in-chief.
Right.
You're watching it unfold in real time. What is that like?
Well, I've done it now quite a bit. We took out Soleimani, which was a big deal. I mean, a very big deal. Middle East. It was very bad to people. Killed a lot of people Everybody you see, just about 95% of the people you see walking around without legs or without arms, that was the roadside bomb. That was his baby. He loved it. We took him out. We took out al-Baghdadi. He's the founder of ISIS. We did Midnight Hammer, which was obliterate the Iran nuclear threat. And it was a total obliteration, as they found out. The B-2 bombers and the best pilots anywhere in the world. They did that at night with no moon, totally dark, and every bomb went right down an air shaft deep into a granite mountain. It was amazing. And we did this, and there's similar in a way. I don't know. This seems to have gotten the imagination, maybe even more than the other ones. But I think they're very equal in many ways. But I don't know. Maybe taking out the nuclear threat from Iran is very important. But in terms of captivating attention, this seems to be something that is beyond anything that anybody's seen.
Especially the operational details.
Well, the bravery involved, I mean, to have people going into an army fort with, thousands of soldiers, land a helicopter right in the middle of it, break down a steel door, because, it was a fortified house, break down a steel door, run through the hallway shooting, and come out 10 minutes later with the guy who wasn't quite able to get into his safe house. There's a safe.
Yeah, I heard they got to him within 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes.
It was so fast. I mean, nobody's ever seen anything like it. And but the safe house wasn't safe because they had blowtorches that go through steel like it's butter. They didn't have to use them. But we have, these are great people. These are really brave people. Even coming down those ropes, they're coming down ropes off the helicopter and they run them. I was thinking to myself, I wonder if I could do that. I'm going to have to give it a try sometime. But they do it like it's a stairway, like it's a beautiful stairway. And they're on the ground instantly and they're ready for action. These are brave people. We have the greatest soldiers in the world. We have the greatest equipment in the world. Nobody can match us. I rebuilt the entire military during my first term.
Good thing you did.
Biden gave some of it away, a lot of it, but not a lot relative to what I bought. But he gave a big chunk to Afghanistan, which was just insane. That was one of the most embarrassing moments in the history of our country. This was the opposite. This was a total, if you think about Jimmy Carter with the hostages, or you think about the Afghanistan disaster that we had not so long ago with Biden, where it was just mass confusion and the death of 13 great soldiers who I got to know. I got to know the families very well. Great people, but also, and nobody talks about them, 48 people so badly injured and hundreds of people dead. Hundreds of people. When those bombs were off, because I count the other side, but there were hundreds of people killed, all because of an incompetent group of politicians and generals and people that shouldn't be there.
Let's talk a little bit, maybe an underreported story, but we know for a fact that both the Russians and the Chinese provided missile and ballistic missile systems. They did it to both, they helped Iran and they helped Venezuela. But you were able to dismantle that. You talk a lot about American military superiority. And then that goes into the issue that you raised this week of raising the budget for 2027 from $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion.
We need it, when you look at the threat out there. We have the best equipment in the world. We make the best equipment in the world. Mm-hmm. We make just, there's nothing even close. But we need it because there are some real threats out there.
Yeah, well, I think we certainly do. Let me ask you about this. And I think this is important. With every military operation comes risk, and you have to obviously weigh that risk. And I think Americans would want to know what goes into your thinking, because there's a whole new military doctrine. I call it the Trump doctrine. I think it's widely misunderstood. No forever wars. However, that doesn't mean you don't use the might and power of the U.S. military. You mentioned Baghdadi, Soleimani. I'll add the mother of all bombs in Afghanistan, right. The ISIS caliphate, and then taking out Iran's nuclear weapon sites, and now our hemisphere. Right. Are you calling it the Donroe Doctrine?
Well, they call it the Donroe. I didn't call it that, but they're calling it's the Monroe Doctrine. Now they call it the Donroe, which is basically safety for this part of the world. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. We don't want drugs pouring into our country. We don't want bad people coming into our country like happened for 4 years under Biden, who was a disgrace, worst president in the history of our country, horrible. We had some other bad ones. Let me tell you, Obama was a terrible president. The divisiveness and the hatred that was caused, and many of the people allowed into the country. But what Biden did was a step beyond anything that anybody's ever done, where you had millions of people pouring through the border. Now we have nobody coming in unless they come in legally.
Let's talk about, you said for the interim, you will be in charge. Okay. Obviously, the remaining leadership underneath Maduro, they've made, I mentioned earlier, 3 major concessions, 30 to 50 million barrels of oil. They're going to buy and purchase all their goods from America. Now they're releasing political prisoners.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your ultimate goal for the governance of Venezuela?
Prisoners that nobody thought they would ever see again are being released, yeah. And in many cases, good people is what I understand, but prisoners nobody ever thought they'd be released. So we're going to be working with them and leadership of the country. And so far we've been working very well. You know, we picked up the Russian freighter that trudged out there.
Well, I want to ask you about that.
Well, they had some Russian ships guarding it, and they decided not to mess around with us. And we took that one, and that's unloading the oil. But we're taking billions and billions of dollars worth of oil, and it'll be hundreds of billions of dollars. It'll be trillions of dollars, but we're going to be there till we straighten out the country. We'll see how the country's doing. But we'll be running the oil. We're meeting tomorrow with all of the big oil executives. We're going to be right here in the White House. We're going to meet with the, biggest oil people in the world. They're all coming here. The top 14 companies are coming here. They're going to go in. They're going to rebuild the whole oil infrastructure. They're going to spend at least $100 billion. And it's an unbelievable oil that they have and an unbelievable quality of oil and amount of oil.
When they nationalized the oil industry in Venezuela, going back to the 1920s, American companies had invested billions.
We built it.
All of it.
And then it was taken away from us.
Stolen.
It was stolen from us. And it was taken away, years ago over a period of time, but it was taken away in the early 2000s, even beyond that, but the early 2000s. And I just took it back.
I can't imagine them being able to, they have the largest oil reserves in the world. I can't imagine without American investment, ingenuity, engineering, and our assistance that they would ever be able to tap into the vast resources that they have. Again, the largest in the entire world. So that will be a big part of it. What does that mean in terms of America's new partnership with Venezuela?
Well, it means lower oil prices all over the world, which is great for everybody. It means lower oil prices for America, which I have it down. Don't forget, I inherited a mess. They talk about affordability. There was no affordability under Biden. He had the worst inflation in history, the highest and worst inflation in history. Prices were through the roof, and I'm fixing it. I inherited a mess. I say it all the time. I inherited, because people don't understand, I inherited a mess. Open borders, millions of people in this country that shouldn't be. We're moving them out. We're moving them out pretty rapidly, too. Murderers and drug dealers and just some of the worst people in the world came in, not only from Venezuela, from all over the Congo. The Congo sent us tremendous numbers of people. I don't know what it is with the Congo. They open their jails and they walk into our country. They drive them up to our front entrance. They get out and they walk right into our country. And these are tough, hardened criminals. These are real criminals, and from many countries. I mean, they came from Africa, they came from the Middle East, they came from South America, but a lot came from Venezuela. He opened his prisons and sent all of the people from his prisons into the United States. Why not? I do the same thing about it. You take the people, they're nothing but trouble for you, and they're killers, and they're the worst people that you can imagine. I mean, some of the crimes are so bad you wouldn't believe it. We just accepted them into our country. Nobody did anything about it. So we're getting them out. Washington, D.C., as an example, was very dangerous, and now it's very safe. I mean, everybody's coming to Washington. It's a very safe city now, and before, when I took over, it was really a danger. It got really bad. We had it pretty good, but it wasn't really a focus because you didn't hear the level of danger until my second term. My first term, we watched Washington, but it wasn't like it was the big deal. Now, all of a sudden, when I came here, I was hearing stories about the kind of crime that they had here. People come in from Iowa and from Indiana and great places, and they end up calling the parents that your son has been killed. Doesn't happen anymore. We have a very safe, Washington, D.C. is a very safe city. We put our National Guard there. They're all central casting. You take a look at these guys, it's great. We won the case on merit, based on merit from the Supreme Court, a great victory, a courageous victory, actually, but this country is now based on merit again.
Let me ask you about Maria Corina Machado. I've had her on TV this week.
Yeah, she's a very nice person.
Okay, she won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes.
When she accepted that Peace Prize, she dedicated it to you. She said to me this week, both on TV and radio, that she wants to give the Nobel Prize, her Nobel Peace Prize, to you for liberating her country. In 2023, she won over 92% of the vote to be the leader of the opposition. Maduro kept her off the ballot. Do you have any plans to meet with her? And would you accept the Nobel Prize she wants to hand to you?
Well, I understand she's coming in next week sometime. And I look forward to saying hello to her. And I've heard that she wants to do that. That would be a great honor. I did put out 8 wars, 8 and a quarter, because, you know, Thailand and Cambodia started going at it again. So
I'll put the list up
I give a
if you
quarter,
want.
so it's,
Yeah.
you put the list out, it's a hell of a list. But I've stopped 8 wars. And I think, it's been a major embarrassment to Norway. Now, I don't know what Norway has to do with it, but that's where the committee is located, a lot of Norwegian people. And it's been a very big embarrassment to the country of Norway, whether they have anything to do with it or not. I think they do. They say they don't. But, when you put out 8 wars, in theory, you should get 1 for each war, okay? Because some of these wars were going on for 30 years. India, Pakistan was ready to go at it big, and these are 2 nuclear countries. I got that one stopped. 8 planes were shot down. They were really at it, and I got it stopped. It was a big one. You look at the Congo, Rwanda and the Congo. They've been fighting for 30 years, and I got it stopped. I got so many wars, so it's such a beautiful thing. It makes me feel so good. Not because of a Nobel Prize, but because I say